Hey everybody, welcome to the show. This is Dr. Levi with your show, The Dr. Levi Show. Today is August 16th, 2017. Beautiful, awesome day here in Los Angeles. So I hope wherever you are, you're making it a great day. It's interesting to note that as I was driving in today, I was thinking, wow, how awesome it is to be in Los Angeles. Really a city of dreams, a city of great entrepreneurial leadership, a place where if you can think it, you truly can achieve it. It's really just a matter of having the work ethic and having the team to make it all come forth. So I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're having a situation or a place where you work that's filled with people that lift you up, that remind you that you're important, that you have value, and that everybody has an intrinsic gift to provide and to give and share with the world. No one's better than anyone else. We're all here to do great things. We're all here to be happy, to share happiness. And I think more importantly, to be of service to humanity. It's all about service. Are you making not only your world, your microcosm better, but are you making the world at large better? Are you adding to the goodness of humanity, or are you just simply taking away? And remember, you only get what you're willing to give away. So give away more love, more forgiveness, more goodness. Be more kind, be more accepting, be less judgmental. I think these are the things that really give us a greater sense of our own humanity and a greater sense of why we're here, which is truly, I believe, to be of service to humanity. That's what I believe. So I want to thank you for joining us today. This is our Q&A, question and answers. So as a gamer's doctor, the eSports doctor, I take questions from all over the world, from South Africa, from New Guinea, to Australia, to France, to Canada, from all over the world, of course from everywhere in the U.S., about gaming issues, about injuries to the hand, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, the neck, about ergonomic issues, about new games that are coming forth. Anything you want to know, this is your place to get that knowledge. So I want to share that with you. So today we're going to go over questions from our YouTube fan base, as well as from our Twitter fan base, as well as from emails that we've gotten. So a lot to discuss. So I want to just give a big shout out before we get started to the owner here of UBN Radio, Tony Sweet, for helping us today, as well as to my amazing manager and producer, Janet Rodriguez. And then I really want to welcome to the show today Anthony Scott, who's right out of beautiful Syracuse, New York, where we love, and he's going to be our new intern here on the show. So we're really happy to welcome him aboard. He has no idea what he's getting into, but he'll find out shortly how hard he has to work to make everything come into fruition. So I want to thank everyone, and let's get started. Lots to go over today. And I want to remind you, too, that, we have a lot coming up. This coming Saturday, we'll release some of the new videos that we've been working on. It'll be the first one in about maybe 2 months or so. So that's going to be great. We think it'll have a great impact on the gaming and esports community. And secondly, we're not going to do the Twitch TV stream the first weekend in September because it's Labor Day. So we want to give everyone a chance to enjoy their holidays, and I want to enjoy the holidays with my family also. That's my mother's birthday, actually, so it'll be a great, great weekend. So with that said, our Twitch TV stream will be the second weekend in September. And the other thing, OSU, we have the third or fourth OSU installment coming up. That'll be out within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So just a lot going on. So I hope you guys are ready. And of course, my team and I were gearing up for BlizzCon. That's going to be in November. So it's an extraordinarily busy year, especially in the world of gaming and esports, and in my own personal career and in my own platform with my team. So happy to have you with us today. So let's get started. Again, these are questions from our Facebook base, as well as Twitter, Twitch TV, as well as email. So let's get started. Lots to say. So the first question is from Facebook. Hi, Doc. Firstly, I want to thank you for your videos on stretching. I'm an avid gamer and guitar player. I used to have pain all the way up my forearm on my mouse and small and picking hand, and the videos have really helped completely get rid of it. However, I'm still having problems with the mild throbbing pain or ache in my hand on the same arm. It would appear the source is the abductor digiti minimi. I love the fact that you've looked up the anatomy. That's great. Abductor digiti minimi on the palm side, towards the wrist around the area above the pisiform bone. The whole muscle used to be extremely stiff and painful, but stretching fingers has relieved a lot of the stiffness and pain towards the small finger. The issue is I'm hyper flexible and it's really difficult for me to stretch in general. I can't find an effective method to stretch the base near the wrist part of the muscle, which still is causing me some annoyance. Do you have any advice or video of an exercise you could point me towards? So yes, so let's talk about this. Again, thank you for your question. So let's get started. I think the major issue here is when you're stretching, to make sure, when you're doing any stretch, to make sure that your elbow is completely extended. Therefore, your elbow is not flexed or bent. Elbow is completely extended. That when you're doing the stretch, I want to show you 3 specific stretches I think that will help you. The first is just holding your hand straight up and pushing to the side. So again, you're abducting your small finger, but you're going to resist it. So instead of just letting the finger go out to the side like this, I want you to hold some resistance here. And you want to push out for about 15 to 20 seconds. Now, as you're doing this, I'm using these fingers to push this way, but you're pushing out that way. So resistance. The resistance will help to strengthen that muscle, of course. So here. The other thing is this exercise. I'm going to do it right in front so you can see. So around the world with the small finger, back around the world with the small finger. As you do this, you'll see it's very, very difficult exercise. So again, holding your hand straight up, you're going to push the small finger away from the body, but resistance to push it back toward the body, just like this. All right? The other one, you can hold the hand if you want around the world, back around the world, just like this. The other thing, I'll give you a 4th exercise, a little bonus exercise, is to bring your small finger up this way and simply hold the finger. Just hold. Hold that for 15 to 30 seconds. Bring it down the opposite way. Hold 15 to 30 seconds. When you're holding this, make sure that the palmar surface of your small finger is also touching your palm. So you want to bring it down like that and hold. So press against this joint or articulation called the PIP joint. You know, some people call it a knuckle, but we don't use that term in medicine, actually. I don't like that term. It's not a knuckle. It's an articulation, a joint. So hold this down like that. Again, 30 seconds. So those are the 4 or 5 things I can share with you I think will help you. Again, do them consistently. And I also recommend highly that when you're gaming, to make sure that every hour you take your 5-minute stretch break. That's really critical. To not simply play for 12, 16, 18 hours without taking time to stretch. So again, every hour you take a 5-minute stretch break. That'll help you. Of course, we have a whole catalog of videos there to help you. You can take one video, use 3 or 5 exercises, rotate those. There are literally enough videos to rotate those exercises around indefinitely for about 25 years. So it should not be difficult. Find something that works for you and that will help you and just simply do it, but change them up. Don't do the same exercises all the time. That's what's critical. It's like working out. You know, if you do the same things you work it out, you never see a difference in your body. You never see a difference in strength or endurance or flexibility or cardiovascular capacity. But if you switch things up and change them around, you know, a body that works out looks fit. A body that doesn't work out doesn't look fit. A body that does the same things all the time doesn't have specific gains overall. So you want to change things up. All right, so next question. I want to ask you guys, too, when you're sending your questions, if you can limit your questions to like 3 to 5 sentences so we can get, my goal is to get more questions in. I like to try to get in about 20 questions per show versus 12 to 13. So just something to think about. If you don't, that's fine. We'll still read your questions, of course, but I like to try to give as great a benefit as I can to everyone who's listening. All right, next question. Hey, Dr. Levi, I just wanted to know, I've continued for a while now to practice Dr. Levi exercises for carpal tunnel until the situation ever be fully resolved without surgery. I'm a gamer and the pain is very sporadic. I'll get a tingle in my hands and a dull ache in my forearm, and that's about all the symptoms. But I feel like a tight forearm is also my issue. Whenever I go to the gym, it releases some of the tension. Do you recommend anything for loosening up the forearm? Well, yeah. Yes, there are a lot of exercises we can do for that. Of course, you can stick to the basic inertial exercise we talked about before. Inertial, again, is spelled N-I-R-S-C-H-L. Now, this is a primal, what I call a primal stretch for anyone in the gaming and esports community. So it's really simple. Again, your elbow is straight. You want to hold this for 30 seconds. Make sure, again, elbow is straight, fully extended, and you press back. And you'll feel it here in your forearm. You hold this for 30 seconds. Then you're going to hyperextend or extend the hand and the wrist. You're going to come back and bring back the fingers and the palm and hold that for 30 seconds. Those are basic forearm stretches. Another stretch for the forearm, of course, would be to put your hand this way. This will stretch. This is the radial aspect where the brachioradialis comes down and attach across here. You want to just bend your hand down and hold like this. That'll also help to stretch out part of your forearm. And then bring your hand up and hold back like this. Again, keeping the elbow straight. These are very, very difficult exercises, but if you do them, you'll definitely see the benefit. The goal here is the following. When it comes to the stretches, as I said earlier, you have to diversify all the stretches and strengthening exercise that you do. Again, don't do the same ones over and over and over because there's no benefit. You know, you want to change things up so your body can feel and see the difference. All right? So I hope that helps you. Next question. Hey, Doc, wondering if you can give me some direction. My local guys are saying there isn't a... Oh, one thing I want to also say about the... I want to go back for a second about the carpal tunnel. And that is key with carpal tunnel also to do the gliding exercise. I want to go over those briefly again. So gliding exercises. Again, the hand is open around the world. A set of 20. Back around the world. A set of 20. Then slightly close your fist around the world, a set of 20, back around the world, a set of 20. Speaking of fists, what about Doom Fist, guys? What do you guys think about that guy on Overwatch? That's a new character. I want to know what you guys think. I think he's an interesting guy to play. So give me your thoughts about that. Again, his name is Doom, D-O-O-M, Fist. All right, so let's continue. The other thing I want to say about carpal tunnel, too, you do want to try to do everything you can to minimize any type of surgical intervention. So for carpal tunnel, I recommend the following. Number 1, do the stretching exercises. 2, consider physical therapy. 3, of course, acupuncture, which I love. 4, to use splinting. 5, anti-inflammatory medication. And 6, if none of those things are effective, of course, your doctor, he or she may want to recommend an EMG nerve conduction study test and or an injection. You know, injections are great. You know, in my practice, I have about 85 to 90% plus success rate with those. And that's 1, maybe 2 injections of either Depomedrol or Kenalog, you know, some steroid plus Marcaine or lidocaine. That is found to be extremely effective in my practice, so along with acupuncture. So that's one thing. But again, I want to remind you, do what you can to avoid any type of surgical intervention because, as I've said many times, when it comes to surgery, I don't care how great the physician he or she is, with surgery, only 1 of 3 things will always happen, no matter what they tell you. Surgery does 1 of 3 things, like a medication, make you better, make you worse, or no change. It's always one of those 3. So if you think about it, you have a 33.33% chance of getting better, but a 66.66% chance of either being worse or maybe the same. So I'm a fairly young surgeon, thank God, but I'm also a very, 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 very conservative surgeon. So surgery, when everything else has failed, oh, look at that, guys. That was funny. Surgery. You know, it's moments like this that make you love radio. So let me say this. I want to say this to Tony Sweet. Thanks for the new. Thanks for the new equipment. Worked so well. All right, let me talk to you guys in a second here. Let's continue on. So those are the things I recommend with respect to carpal tunnel. Do those things, and I think you'll get you'll get some relief. All right, next question. Anthony Scott, this is what you signed up for. Get ready. All right. Next question is, Doc, I've recently been taking about a 2 week break from gaming as the first analog stuck hurts my thumb to use suddenly. Does this mean my gaming career is likely over? Has gotten slightly better in that time, but not well enough to play much of it at all? Okay, so I recommend the following. So, so with thumb pain, thumb is a very interesting issue because the thumb, let's talk about the thumb briefly. The thumb is 42% of all functional motion of your hand. So when you have an injury with the thumb, your whole hand is down. And you simply have a paw, basically. Just think about it. This one digit is 42% of everything that you do with your hand. So if it's injured, again, you just have a paw. You can't turn anything. You can't hold anything well. It's difficult. So let's go over a few things here. With thumb pain, the major issue is to do the massage techniques here at the IP joint as well as at the MCP joint. You want to rub this area, maybe 20 seconds. Rub this area again, circular motion, 20 seconds. Then bring the thumb across, over and across. For I'd say, again, a set of 10 to 20. And then take the thumb. As always, these are some of the best exercises that I love. Around the world, I'll do it from the side. And back around the world. Again, I'm only going to do a few of these, but I recommend 20. And then, of course, in and out. You really want to strengthen the muscles of the first web space here. Those things will definitely help you. The goal that I can tell you most importantly is that as you do everything, I've said this before in the show, it's so important that you talk to your doctors in your local community, because, I'm your doctor, but it's virtual. I'm not able to examine you completely. I'm not able to get your full history. So I want to remind everyone, no matter what we talk about, it's imperative that you go and see and be evaluated by your own local doctor so that he or she may say, hey, yes, Dr. Levi was right. You should do this. Or he may say, well, did Dr. Levi know this part of your history and I don't? So again, go to be seen and evaluated by your local doctors. All right. Next question. So again, those are the stretches for your thumb that I recommend. Hey, doctor, wondering if you can give me some direction. My local guys are saying there is a solution. Has developed tennis elbow on the right elbow. That's on the inside. I'm taking a leave in the morning and doing some basic stretches. My local doc who did my collarbone repair is saying there isn't anything I can do. What do you say? Well, I think it's great that you went to get an evaluation by your doctor. But I will give you my thoughts about what you may want to consider doing, and also talk to your doctor about it and see if he or she agrees. So, if you're having tennis elbow, and one thing you said that's a little off here, you said you're having tennis elbow on the right elbow that's on the inside. So, this question is a little confounding because I want to tell you why. So, this is the lateral aspect of your elbow. This is tennis elbow. If you have pain here on this aspect of your elbow, this is called golfer's elbow. So your extensors connect here, insert in this area, and this is the area where your pronator and your flexors insert. So it's not clear to me if you really, when you say it's on the inside, if you're saying that you have tennis elbow versus golfer's elbow, which is the inside. So, but you said it's tennis elbow, so I'll take what you're saying. Again, tennis elbow, I recommend the inertial exercises. Now, the other thing to do with your doctor is to ask him or her about an injection and or acupuncture or physical therapy. There's a lot to do for tennis elbow. So the other thing you can do, of course, the most common and the easiest thing is to take a break from gaming. So if you're gaming 8 hours a day, maybe game only 2 hours a day. The second thing that's really easy is to buy something called a compression brace for your elbow. What happens with extensor carpi rectus brevis tendonitis, that's what it is basically, is you're getting these micro tears as well as this angioplastic, fibroblastic changes that are occurring where the tendon inserts at the lateral epicondyle. So with that said, the inertial exercise is number one. Number two, to change your gaming patterns. Number three, to make sure that your gaming space is ergonomically balanced. Number four, get the elbow compression brace. That will definitely give you some release. And number five, of course, talk to your doctor about the following: either physical therapy, acupuncture, or a small steroid injection. Again, the steroid injection I'd push to the end unless you've tried everything that's non-invasive, that is conservative. I'm really big on conservative, holistic approaches to everything because I think if you do that, most likely you really will get a benefit. So try those things first. All right? So I hope that helps you. Next question is, Dr. Levi, I'm a 60-year-old female. I watch your video on rotator cuff strengthening exercises. What weights should I use to do these exercises? I strength train 3 times per week. Would this be too much to add into the program? Well, it's a great question. I want to applaud you, at 60 to continue exercise. The great thing about exercise really is one of the elixirs of health. It's like, often in medicine you hear this old adage that it's 85% diet and 15% exercise. We don't have any proof of that. We say that, but there's no study that has shown that it's 85% and 15. But I will say this, it's great that you have strengthening and exercise as a part of your lifestyle. And that's the key with fitness. Fitness has to be a part of your lifestyle. It can't be something that you do when you want. You do it, when you have time. You do it when you feel good. You do it when you don't feel good. No, you have to think about fitness as how do you incorporate exercise into the daily aspect of your life. Because fitness helps to change the narrative of your life because it helps to change your overall health. It improves your bone quality and density. It improves your cardiovascular endurance. It improves your flexibility and, of course, your strength. So exercise it's really one of those aspects of life that's really non-negotiable. So I think it's fantastic that at 60 you're doing this. Now, with respect to the rotator cuff strengthening exercises, I recommend the following. Start off with the weight that you can easily do, maybe 1 or 2 pounds, and then after maybe 2 to 3 weeks, make slow progressions up to 3 pounds, then 4, then 5. Now if you're doing the ones that I recommend internal. I'm going to stand up a little bit here. Internal and external rotation exercises, as well as abduction done in this plane, as well as forward flexion done in that plane. So if you're doing those exercises, again, it's so critical that you do weights that you can control, but that do give you somewhat of a challenge. Now, if you're using weights that you have to swing or that give you more pain after you do them, or you're using weights that you really can't control, then that's not working for you. So do something that's less. I want to say this. When it comes to exercise in general, it's always quality over quantity. So if you're going to do 20 very poorly and very uncontrolled versus to do 5 or 8 that are slow, controlled, really valid movements, then go for the slower ones. That's always better. So again, quality over quantity, control the weight, do the exercises, and I'm glad you're adding them to your overall regimen. And again, I want to say at 60, it's great. I just had a conversation recently with one of my patients who's 60, I think she says she's 69 this year. She's going to be 70 this year. We're talking about this recently, and she was saying how over the past year and a half that she started exercising, how much better she feels. And she said that if she had known she'd feel so good, she'd have started this 50 years earlier. So I want to say it's great to hear people embrace exercise, because when you do that, you do feel better. You think more clearly. The great thing about exercise does the following. Besides helping to control your lipid panel, with respect to hyperlipidemia, hypercholesterolemia, your blood pressure, it increases your libido. It increases your ability to retain more. It increases your strength and fitness. It increases your ability to just be focused about life. There's nothing like exercise. There's nothing like it. But again, as always, everything in moderation, moderation. So for myself, I exercise every day for about 2.5 to 3 hours, but that works for me and my life and my lifestyle. And for the people whom I exercise with, it works out for them. So I want you to really consider doing that. Exercise is critical, and I applaud you for doing that. 60 years old, keep it up. All right, next question. Hi, Dr. Levi. I need your help. My thumb hurts a lot when it gets cold. Decrevines or basal thumb arthritis. I don't know, but it hurts around the wrist. Can you please help? Absolutely. So let's go over a few things. Number one, if you're having de Quervain's or basal CMC joint arthritis. So let me show you what that is. So de Quervain's is inflammation in this area of your wrist of the first extensor dorsal compartment, the abductor pollicis longus tendon, the extensor pollicis brevis tendon. Now, there's a little tunnel here where they go through this fibrous tissue that can become very, very tight. It's stenotic, meaning very tight and closed, and very painful, very inflamed. So for that, you can diagnose it almost by yourself if you do this called the Finkelstein movement. If you do this and you have pain across here, often that's associated with de Quervain's stenosing tenosynovitis. So again, if you make a small fist, put your thumb on top, and just do this, or someone helps you and does that, then you feel pain across there. That's indicative often of de Quervain's stenosing tenosynovitis. Now, basal cell CMC joint arthritis, a little bit different, and we mainly see that in people over 40, specifically women over 40 is very, very, very common. But I see it now in younger people, especially younger gamers. So that is pain in this area at the base of the thumb, the CMC joint. If you do something called a CMC grind, G-R-I-N-D test, if you grasp the finger and you grind it around that joint, you have significant pain in this area. So that's indicative of CMC joint arthritis. Now, so, if you're saying it bothers you when it gets cold, it makes sense. So let's talk about that. Cold is very interesting because here in California, for example, I'll give you a quick example. When I go to Palm Springs, you see a lot. It's a big retirement community there, and a lot of people say, "Well, why are so many people who are older or geriatric patients? Why do they want to go to Palm Springs?" Well, think about it. It's really, really warm. So all of us, we have joint fluid. We have fluid in our joints. Now think about this. The viscosity of something, the thickness of it, is changed depending on the temperature. So think about this. If someone has severe arthritis in their hands, or their neck, or their hips, or their knees, and they have joint fluid in all those areas, in cold weather, the joint fluid becomes more viscous, more thick. In warmer weather, think about it, it's like heating up candle wax. It becomes more flowing. It's easier to move. It's more liquid-like. So with that said, the cold often bothers someone who has arthritic changes in their joints because the joints are already tight and the fluid there is already thick. If you heat that up, the joint will move often will move better and without the thickness of the joint fluid. Therefore, the following is this. Cold weather makes the joint fluid more thick, therefore often associated with more pain. I see that in my practice all the time. Warm weather makes your joint fluid less viscous, just less thick. Therefore, the movement is often easier and better. Now, let's talk about helping you. I recommend the following, is to invest in a thumb spica brace. It's a brace that you're going to have it's going to wrap around your thumb. It's going to come up to about your mid forearm, and it's going to keep your thumb in an upright position. I recommend for sure wear it during the day for several hours, but more importantly, wear that thumb spica brace at night when you go to sleep. Why? Because most people, while they sleep, they often go into this mild fetal position like this, and they will bend their thumbs and their wrists, and that will often cause more pain for both of those things, de Quervain's, stenosing tenosynovitis, as well as for thumb CMC joint arthritis. So if you do those things, I think it will help you tremendously. The other thing, of course, depending if you're a gamer, is to make sure that you take your 5-minute break every hour while gaming. That will help you also. I have a whole catalog of exercises on YouTube. You can look at those. That should really give you some insights, all right? And the key, again, is to modify those exercises, to change them up every week or two, and I think that will help you tremendously, all right? Next question. You guys are really working me today. I appreciate it. Hello, Dr. Levi. I love your YouTube channel. Thank you very much. I've been following you a few months, and I like your ideas. But I'm writing this message to make a request to you to help me with something that bothers me in my hand. I'm Brazilian, and I'm starting to study English for now. So if you do not understand, I consulted with 2 orthopedists, and they did not give accurate diagnosis. I got upset. I feel pain in the back of my hand near the index finger and middle finger. Can I send a photo of the place, possibly to make a paid consultation over the internet? I'm a League of Legends player. I do a lot of clicks on the mouse daily for hours. Okay, so yes, let's talk about it. So I have to get to Brazil, a beautiful country. So let's talk about this now. So if you're having pain in the back of your hand near the index and middle finger, you may have one of the following. Now, there are other things also. I'll give out the most common things I see in gamers. One is tendinitis. Tendinitis of the EIP tendon and possibly tendinitis of the extensor digitorum communis tendon, one of the tendons that allow you to extend your middle finger. So let's go over this. The tendinitis can sometimes cause a proliferation of something called tenosynovium, and you can get thickened tenosynovium over these tendons of the index finger and the middle finger. Now, when you develop that, the major issue here is that you rest the hand. You can take an anti-inflammatory after you talk to your doctor, see if he or she agrees with that, an anti-inflammatory. The other thing, of course, would be to immobilize your hand for a while and your wrist with a wrist splint. And again, I never immobilize more than a week or 2 maximum, because what happens, I find, is that if the hand is completely immobilized, then people don't use their fingers properly, and the hand and the forearm starts to have some atrophy from lack of use. So it's so very, very imperative that even if you use a splint, again, it should be for a limited amount of time, not for 2, 3, 4, 5 months. That's not the way to go. Not if you want to really keep the strength of your hand, all right? So I recommend that. The other thing I would say is physical therapy. And the third thing I'm really big on, you guys heard me say it many times, is acupuncture. Acupuncture is really an underappreciated, underutilized modality of healing that's been around for how many thousands of years? And it's really effective. I mean, I have it every week in my own practice. I have 2 of the greatest acupuncturists, Megan and Annie, on the planet in my practice, and they're just amazing. So I really recommend acupuncture. Let's see if that will help you. So again, possibly tendinitis of EIP tendon, EDC tendon, and or tenosynovium, or basic RSI, repetitive stress injury, where you're moving your hand so much, your fingers so much that your body's saying, hey, I need a break. This is not working for me. The other thing to consider is to get another mouse. See if a larger mouse will help you. Another thing that may help you is to change the sensitivity on the mouse. If the sensitivity is too high or low, depending on your own body and body type and the quickness at which you play, that may also be affecting you. So again, ergonomic balance of your gaming arena where you play, your desk, to modify the sensitivity of the mouse. And the other thing, of course, is the keyboard. Make sure that your keyboard is also ergonomically balanced and that your chair is correct. And then watch your posture when you're gaming, or even when you're not gaming, to make sure that you're sitting upright, that your shoulders are squared, that you're always in an upright position. It's just better for your spinal alignment in general. All right. So I hope that helps you in Brazil. And I got to get there. Yes, I do. All right, next question. Dr. Levi, I watched your video on YouTube for rotator cuff strengthening. I've injured both rotator cuffs and do not have time to have the surgery done. The one shoulder's tear is 9 millimeters. Oof. And the other is 11 millimeters. I battle sleeping at night as it wakes me up, and sometimes putting my seatbelt on is also very painful. How many reps do you recommend at a time? 10 reps for 30 sets. I just do not want to overdo it, but I really need to strengthen my shoulders. Hope to hear from you soon from South Africa. Well, great. So South Africa, another place I have to get to. So let's talk about this. The first thing, of course, before I say the exercises, I'll show you the exercises, but you have to make sure that you talk to your doctor before you do these, because I haven't seen your MRI. I don't know if your rotator cuff tears are retracted, if you have atrophy of the muscles, how you injured them. You just gave me this brief statement here, which I appreciate, that you have rotator cuff tears and that they're significant, 9 millimeter tear, 11 millimeter tear, but it's not clear of where they are. Are they a bursal tear? Is it there's so many different types of tears. So not to belabor that point. So number one, make sure you talk to your doctor about these exercises first. All right, that's the first disclaimer I want you to understand. And secondly, I'll show you exercises I think you may want to consider doing after you talk to your doctor. The first, of course, are the internal and external rotation exercises that we've done before. And again, as you've known, and we've talked about this before, keep the elbow next to the body when you're doing these, okay? You don't throw the elbow out. And then the other ones here, the abduction in this plane, like this. Of course, the forward flexion. Now, yes, I'm okay with 10 reps for 3 sets. But again, talk to your doctor, because he or she may say that because you have so much atrophy, it may cause you more pain, or it may cause you to have impingement syndrome. There's so many issues with rotator cuff tears. And again, it's where is the tear, how long you've had the tear, what was the cause of the tear, where is the location of the tear. So I want to help you, but more importantly, it's important that you don't do anything that's going to cause you to have more damage or to exacerbate the problem that you have, or to cause a greater tear. Then you have greater drama. And I don't want you to have that, all right? So those exercises can help you. But again, I want to reiterate, don't implement any of that exercise program until you talk to your doctor. And again, make sure you're talking to an orthopedic upper extremity specialist like myself, a person who does hand, wrist, and shoulder, or an orthopedist who specializes in sports, who does shoulder, knees, and hips, for example. But the key is a specialist, not a general practitioner. And they deliver a lot of great care, general practitioners, but they're not surgeons. And it's key that we all work together to help give you the best amount of care and also the best quality of care. So, a general practitioner can definitely diagnose a rotator cuff tear. However, the surgery will be done by an orthopedic surgeon. So make sure that everybody on your team, that everyone's talking and communicating, and that there's open, transparent communication without any ego, because the surgeon is no better than the general practitioner. Everybody works together to give you the best care, all right? So with that said, let's get to the next question. Again, South Africa, yes, thank you for that. Hello, Dr. Harrison, Dr. Levi, I admire your work and watched a lot of your videos. I recently broke my metacarpal in my right hand, and my split begins in October. My split, I'm not sure what that meant there. I know what I think you mean there. I'm wearing an orthopedic splint, which I'm supposed to have for 4 weeks now. Do you know anything how I can recover faster, and should I recover after my break? Thanks in advance. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about it. The great thing about metacarpal fractures specifically, so the metacarpals are this region of the hand. These are the metacarpals. They're right here. So these are the phalanges, proximal phalange, middle phalange, and the distal phalange, phalanx. These are the metacarpals here. And in your foot, of course, you have metatarsals. In the hand, metacarpals. So the great thing, if you had a metacarpal fracture, most of them, depending on if they're not a displaced fracture, they heal really, really well with just simple immobilization. However, and the good thing here with you is that they only wanted you in a splint. So that means most likely that, one, it's not displaced, and two, it's not completely off. So that's great. So yes, you would wear the splint for 4 to 6 weeks. But the other part of this now that's so important is when that splint comes off, most likely, your fingers and hands may be somewhat stiff. Physical therapy, physical therapy, physical therapy. So after the splint comes off, don't simply say, well, okay, let me go back and try to work out. Let me do some flying push-ups. Let me go and hold a plank for 5 minutes. No. You have to make sure that you're doing the exercise to re-strengthen your hand, your forearm, your entire upper extremity, really, because when you have an injury like this, because you're not using your hand properly, the entire extremity goes through some atrophy. So I want you to be strong. I want you to be healthy. I want you to have a great comeback from your fracture, but it's so important that you take it easy. Don't go back too quick, because that puts you at risk for, again, another injury, or maybe breaking through that fracture, more drama. Let's do the right thing for you, okay? So I hope that helps. So again, 4 weeks, therapy afterwards. Make sure that you're eating well and staying away from maybe high inflammatory foods. A lot of fruits, nuts, vegetables, and grains. That's the best, and I'm sure you do well. Stay well hydrated and continue to exercise. And the other thing I'll say, too, is remember when you have an injury of the upper extremity, that doesn't mean you don't exercise anymore. So often people think, well, I have an injury of my foot, then I just stop exercising. I have an injury of my hand, I'll stop exercising. It doesn't work that way. So if your hand is injured, well, you can still work your legs, you can work your quads, you can work your calves, you can do other things, you can work your core. Having an injury doesn't mean you stop. Having an illness doesn't mean you stop working out. It means you do things in a smarter way. You do things in a more effective and a more efficient way. So that's the deal with that. So I hope that helps you. Next question is, hey, Dr. Levi, I hope you're well. I was wondering how much do you know about radiation? If so, I was hoping we could have a little talk about it, as I have some anxieties with the number of scans I've had. Okay, so let's talk about that. When it comes to radiation, and how much you will get from a scan. So CT scans, of course, you get the most amount of radiation. With an MRI, let's talk about that. A lot of people will often ask me, well, I don't want to have an MRI, Dr. Levi, because I don't want the radiation. So there's no radiation involved with the MRI scan. It's magnetic resonance, MRI. So now, if you get a regular chest x-ray, of course, you're going to have exposure to radiation. If you get a cervical spine regular x-ray, you have radiation. Any x-ray, yes, you're exposed to radiation. Any CT scan, you're exposed to radiation, and a lot of it. That's why it's so important, for example, if you're diagnosed with some form of cancer, for example, lymphoma, leukemia, whatever, that's a really, not necessarily cancer, but anything that has been localized by your doctor, well, they say, well, you need a CT scan. It's so important that you talk to them about minimizing the number of scans that you get, versus getting a scan every 3 months, every 6 months, because again, you may be creating a problem because of the exposure to radiation. So, you know what? I will work on not only talking about radiation, but also about maybe having someone on the show, another physician, to really talk about radiation and the things that can happen with too much exposure. I think that's very important. So a great question. I hope that helped you a little bit also. All right, next question. Again, this is still from Facebook. Dr. Levi, given good posture, ergonomic setup, etc., is a mouse and keyboard or a controller better for your long-term health? Well, I say this. It was better for long-term health is to mix it up. So, you can use the mouse and the keyboard, or controller, of course, depending on the game that you play. But the key is to mix things up. And I think it's so important that you master both, for example, but more importantly, change things up. So if you start having problems when you're using the keyboard and the mouse, well, go back to using a controller for a while. When you do that, it reminds your brain that it can do both, but also, more importantly, it gives your body a chance to do something different where you're not using the same muscles of your hands and fingers and forearms with the controller versus what you use for a keyboard and mouse. All right? Great question. Next one, Dr. Levi, I recently injured my wrist from drawing too much. I'm an artist that draws at least 8 hours a day. Wow, that's a lot of drawing. Is it okay to do these exercises while still having an injured hand? And what should I be doing to recover? Thanks. Well, first of all, let me see some of your drawings. I like to see what you're drawing. I may buy something from you. And secondly, let's say this. If you're drawing a lot, you want to do the exercises for gamers, the ones that I have on. But more important, I want to show you two specifically for artists. So it's this. I'm going to do it from the side. So in and out like this with the fist. Piano with your fingers, in and out, reverse piano. Fingers, open and close. This is abduction of your fingers, like that. The next, flappers, again, the elbow straight, up and down. Bottom windshield wipers. Middle windshield wipers. Queen's wave. Got it? All right. So, again, one quick review. Flappers. And again, you don't move the arm and the elbow. The elbow is straight, shoulder straight here, up and down. Bottom windshield wipers. middle windshield wipers. These seem simple, but if you don't move the rest of that, your arm, the fulcrum here, this can be very challenging. Middle, Queen's wave. All right? You can do around the world, back around the world. More importantly, your fist in and out, piano, reverse piano. As an artist, I think those exercises will help you a lot. They're not the easiest, but I recommend doing them at least twice a day. Do them in the morning before you get started. And even while you're drawing or painting, maybe every hour, hour and a half, even every hour, you can do the same rule as the gamers. Every hour, take a 5-minute break, just do those stretches. They would take what? 5 minutes. What's 5 minutes out of a 24-hour day? Not very much, please. All right. Next question is... This is from YouTube. This is from Cheese with Mold. Sounds delicious. Your exercises helped get rid of my wrist and forearm pain, and believe it or not, actually helped me improve my game. After the exercises, my wrist area just feels fresh and ready to go. Very helpful stuff. Okay, Cheese with Mold, I want to thank you for that comment. I'm happy to hear that. That's really important. I'm glad the exercises are helping the community, and I tell you, with a tasty name like Cheese and Mold, how could you not get better? Period. All right, next question is from RYSE Convert. Fantastic videos, very good presentation, very much enjoyed it. We'll continue to support the channel and your endeavors. Wow, thank you very much. When you guys say these things, it makes me feel like my team and I are really doing what we can to help the gaming and esports community. So thank you very much for that. And that was from RYSECONVERT. And again, I talked about Cheese with Mold. And the next one was from Atrinka Rack. That's ATRINKA space RAC. Thank you, Doctor. Perfect video. You can see every exercise clearly. Your voice is soothing. Really, I'm glad to hear that. Thanks. Well, glad to hear that, Atrinka Rack. I think the key with all our videos, we try to make them the following. 1, easy to follow, clear, precise, effective, and more importantly, applicable. We're not just doing these esoteric things that you do. We're doing these specifically because we think they can have an impact on your life, and more importantly, improve your health, and more important than that, I should say, to prevent any injury from happening. That's the key. The next one is from Face Wrecked. That's funny. FACE, then capital REKT. Found this video from Reddit. Great video. Thanks, Dr. Levi. Thanks, Face Wrecked. I love that too. My face looked really wrecked this morning when I came in here. I got to tell you, I was up all night. Not all night, but I operated quite a bit last night. And when I came in, I was feeling like my face was wrecked. So I get it. The next one is from Linda Keith Anderson. Hi, Miss Anderson. These exercises are great. I'm a yoga teacher, so it's important for me to keep my wrist and forearm strong. Many thanks, Linda. Well, thanks, Linda Keith Anderson. Happy to hear from you. And keep your yoga students taking a look at the videos also, and thank you. I want to thank all you guys also. I didn't say this earlier. I really want to thank you for subscribing to all of our social media platforms and being a part of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Really grateful. The last question I'm going to get to is from Tatiana Versaggi. That's TATJANAVERSAGGI. This is exactly what I was looking for. You're my hero. Thanks. I've been ramping up my swimming for 6 months. My triceps really getting to work out, but my forearms need extra TLC. These exercises can even do in the office and take a break from the computer. Thank you for showing correct positioning and for making it not a big deal. Thank you, Tatiana. Again, that's for TATJANA, last name VERSAGGI. The last one is from BTWIST95. Brilliant video. I'm a tricker with a constantly injured left wrist. I'm happy I found this video. I'm going to do all the exercise. Thanks for uploading. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. And that was from BTWIST95. All right, guys. I want to let you guys know I appreciate you. And I'm glad to hear that you guys like our videos. More coming. And I want to remind you, second week in September, Twitch TV. And, of course, we have another OSU video coming out soon. It's either 3 or 4 from that video series with Happy Stick, a great OSU player. And again, thanks for subscribing and join us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all of those. This is Dr. Levi. Have a great, great day. Remember, be kind to everyone. And remember, every day is a gift. So ask yourself, are you using it that way? Take care. See you next week. Bye.